Hi there, my name is Tom Timbrooks. I'd like to talk with you for a little while about something I find very interesting with the educational system. Implement that I think would be really, really helpful in the educational system. We're talking about customized education pods. Now, my reason for this is the whole idea behind this is that school is a place where you go to learn about, reading, writing, arithmetic, history, civics, government, economics, and stuff like that. But I think the most important function of school is for people to learn how to interact with each other. Because you can learn anything from a book, you can learn anything from online courses and so forth. Learning the actual information is important, but developing who you are, developing a personality, developing interactive skills that you're going to utilize for the rest of your life while interacting with other human beings, those skills are incredibly important. Human beings are tribal creatures, and what scientists know about human beings is if we don't develop certain communication skills at critical periods of time in our childhood, those communication skills actually never really get developed. And this is one of the reasons we have adults that are so uncomfortable in social situations where so many other people are very, very comfortable. So what I would like to talk about is what I think will help out in that situation: education pods. Now, these are little pods that a person just sits in all alone, gets an education, learns as quickly as possible. Then you get up, go to recess, and you learn how to interact with other kids. So that's what this slideshow is going to be about, is learning pods. Okay? So today I want to talk about a new idea for education, an idea that combines artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and human interaction into a completely new learning system. I call these systems learning pods. The idea is simple. Instead of forcing every student to learn the same way at the same speed in the same environment, we create systems that adapt to the individual student. These learning pods could exist in schools, libraries, community centers, and even homes. Each pod would combine AI-driven instruction, brain state monitoring, and human-centered social development. The goal is not to replace teachers. The goal is to create an educational system where teachers can spend less time struggling to divide attention across large classrooms and more time mentoring, guiding, and helping students to develop socially and emotionally. Oregon has the opportunity to become a national leader in this emerging field. Now, the problem is one-size-fits-all education. One of the biggest challenges in education today is that students learn differently. Some students learn quickly, some need repetition, some learn visually, some learn through discussion and interaction. But most classrooms still move at a fixed pace. That creates frustration on both sides. Students who fall behind become discouraged. Students who move ahead become disengaged. Teachers are then placed in an almost impossible situation where they must divide their attention among large groups of students with completely different learning needs. At the same time, social development is often inconsistent. Many students are not taught communication, emotional awareness, conflict resolution, or how to work effectively with others. The result is lower comprehension, reduced information retention, and lost human potential. The system is trying to fit the student into the classroom instead of adapting the classroom to the student. Now, the solution that I've come up with, AI artificial intelligence plus brain state learning pods. Now imagine a different system. A student sits inside a learning pod designed to minimize distraction and maximize focus. The system uses safe EEG sensors to monitor attention and cognitive load. Artificial intelligence then adjusts the lesson in real time. If the student is confused, the lesson slows down. If the student understands quickly, the lesson advances. The pod can also use neurofeedback techniques to help students reach a calm and focused mental state that improves learning efficiency. The goal is not mind control, the goal is optimization. Research already shows that attention, stress levels, environmental conditions, and mental state all affect learning performance. So instead of only focusing on what is being taught, we also focus on the condition of the brain that is doing the learning. That could lead to improved reading comprehension, faster learning cycles, better retention, and reduced frustration. The core idea is simple: optimize the state of the brain before optimizing the content of the instruction. Now, why Oregon? Building a new industry. What makes this especially exciting is that Oregon already has many of the pieces needed to support this industry. We have world-class research institutions like Oregon Health and Science University and University of Oregon. We also have major technology infrastructure through companies like Intel and Oregon's broader semiconductor ecosystem. This creates an opportunity to build what I would call a new form of infrastructure, cognitive infrastructure. And that means manufacturing learning pods locally, partnering with AI and neurotechnology startups, and creating high-skilled technical jobs here in Oregon. Instead of simply consuming future technology developed somewhere else, Oregon could become one of the places where this technology is designed, tested, and manufactured. And that means economic growth, educational innovation, and national leadership. Now, the real-world impact from classroom to home. The long-term impact of this kind of system could be enormous. In schools, students could learn at their own pace, while teachers focus more on mentorship and social development. At home, affordable learning pods could provide continuous education opportunities, especially for rural communities, working families, and students who need individualized support. The result could be higher reading comprehension, faster skill acquisition, stronger communication abilities, and better long-term educational outcomes. And because these systems would be scalable and mass-produced, competition and innovation could continuously improve their effectiveness while lowering cost. The future of education may not be a larger classroom. The future of education may be personalized learning environments that adapt to the individual students, because ultimately, education should adapt to the student, not the other way around. So presently, Oregon is not doing very well in the education department, and a lot of political leaders are looking at Mississippi now. Mississippi was last place in education a while ago, a few years back. I don't know. I think it was about 10 years back. Mississippi was in last place. Well, now Mississippi is in first place. They call it the Mississippi Miracle. And there are a lot of educators that say what we need to do is copy Mississippi exactly. Find out what Mississippi did and do that. Well, I say let's innovate. Let's do something totally new. Let's try to figure out how to use the technology that we have available to us to figure out how we can better serve the students, because artificial intelligence is part of society. It's just as much a part of society as books were 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Okay, so if we don't bring artificial intelligence into the educational system somehow, we're being irresponsible. We really need to figure out how to utilize this amazing tool, artificial intelligence, to improve the educational process. So if I am elected as a United States representative, Oregon's 6th Congressional District, if I get to go to Washington, D.C. and work with the rest of the political system, I will do everything I can do to make sure that AI, possibly education pods, are the technology is developed and utilized. Because like I said, the most important part of school is human interaction. The most important part of education is the development of what you are. See, what you are is everything that could be commoditized. If you're an architect, you make buildings. If you're a computer programmer, you make computer programs. If you're a doctor, you heal the sick. But that's what you are. Who you are develops when you're around other people, talking with them, having discussions with them. That's really the important part of being a human being, is developing who you are and not what you are. If we can develop what we are more effectively, that will give us more time to develop who we are. And really, I think that's a lot more important in the long run, because people are attracted to other people because of who they are, not what they are, or they should be. They should find people more interesting because of who they are rather than what they are. So that's what I would like. I would like to develop an educational system that more efficiently helps us to develop what we are, so that we can increase the amount of time we spend developing who we are. So my name is Thomas W. Timbrooks. I'm a write-in candidate for Oregon's 6th Congressional District in the 2026 election. I'll hopefully be on the ballot in 2028. So write me in, Thomas W. Timbrooks. Thank you very much for listening. God bless.